Welcome to today's Explainer. If you've ever felt like AI is just taking wild, completely uneducated guesses about your business, well, you're in exactly the right place. Because today, we're taking Google Gemini and transforming it. We're turning it from a guessing machine into a hyper-precise, data-anchored business assistant. We're going to master an absolutely crucial, game-changing feature, Gemini Sources, inside Google Workspace. Let's just dive right into this.
So here's our quick roadmap for today. We'll hit the power of sources, capabilities, and supported files, how to add and manage those sources, context limits, and AI errors, and then we'll wrap it up with mastery and real-world business examples.
All right, let's kick things off with Section 1, the power of sources. Look, we've all been there, right? You ask an AI a highly specific question about your own company, and what do you get? You get this generic, maybe even totally inaccurate guess, and that's simply because it's completely blind to your actual data. But the exact moment you attach your actual Excel or Google Sheets sales report, boom, you instantly anchor Gemini to reality. So instead of just throwing darts in the dark and guessing, it actively reads your exact data to give you a precise, totally customized answer. It's a real light bulb moment. Moving right along to Section 2, capabilities and supported files.
So once Gemini's grounded with your files, there are 3 incredibly powerful use cases you're going to use all the time. First up is search. Imagine you have a super dense 200-page company policy document. Instead of, reading the whole thing yourself, you just prompt Gemini and it instantly searches that entire block of text to find the absolute exact rule you need. Next is summarize. You can literally take a 50-page PDF, upload it, and just ask Gemini to distill the whole shebang into a quick, easily readable summary. And the third one, which is honestly my personal favorite, is compare. You can give Gemini 2 entirely separate files, like, say, your January and February sales reports, and just ask it to analyze the differences between the two. It handles these massive documents and really complex comparisons in seconds. It's pretty amazing.
To pull all this off, Gemini seamlessly supports Google Docs, Google Sheets, Google Slides, and of course, standard PDF files. Honestly, this really covers the vast majority of standard business documentation out there, meaning you can pull from your daily text documents, crunch spreadsheets, parse presentations, and even read locked reports without missing a single beat.
Okay, let's get a bit more hands-on. Section 3, how to add and manage sources.
You might be wondering how hard this is to set up. Well, connecting your files is incredibly, unbelievably simple. Right inside Google Docs, you just click the Ask Gemini button, select Add Sources, and then choose Add from Drive to pick your file. Literally, that is it. And the absolute best part here, once you add that file, it just stays there. It remains fully available throughout your entire back-and-forth conversation with Gemini. You don't have to constantly keep re-uploading the same file over and over again. Now, I do want to make a really quick but absolutely critical note on security. Google Workspace does ensure your data stays protected. So if you try to use a file as a source that you personally do not have explicit permission to view, Gemini is going to stop right there. It will actually notify you that you need to request permission first, so your security remains totally intact. The AI absolutely cannot bypass your organization's sharing rules. But wait, it actually doesn't just stop at individual files. You can expand Gemini's search settings to pull context from your entire workspace ecosystem, which is huge. By toggling these specific settings on, you're allowing Gemini to search through your Google Drive, pull info directly from your Gmail, check your conversations in Google Chat, or even look at your schedule in Google Calendar. There's also a web search option. Now that one is off by default, but if you flip it on, it allows Gemini to supplement all your internal documents with real-time internet searches. It basically transforms into the ultimate, fully connected assistant. Now this next bit brilliantly illustrates just how precise you can get, specifically when we're talking about Google Sheets. Let's say you have an inventory table. Maybe it's showing bowls, plates, and spoons, and it's buried inside this massive, unwieldy spreadsheet with multiple tabs and thousands of rows. You don't have to force the AI to read the whole entire workbook. You can actually highlight a very specific cell range, like just this exact table, and tell Gemini to only look right there. That kind of targeted precision saves a ton of time and guarantees the AI focuses only on the data you actually care about at that moment. So that brings us to a really crucial point, trust. How do you actually know the AI read your file and isn't just making things up? Well, underneath every single answer Gemini provides, there's a little source verification button. By clicking that, you can track your sources and see the exact PDF, doc, or spreadsheet it pulled the information from. It's fantastic because it allows you to confidently trace the AI's logic straight back to the original origin file. All right, time for Section 4, Context Limits and AI Errors. It's time for a bit of a reality check, guys. To use this technology effectively, we first need to define something called the context window. A context window is basically just the limited amount of information or data that an AI model can actually read and process at one single time. Honestly, think of it like human short-term memory. You can only hold so much information in your head at once before things just start spilling out and you forget stuff. Well, AI works the exact same way. So what exactly happens if you try to test that memory? Imagine you dump a massive number of files into one single prompt. Let's say, 80 total files, like 40 PDFs, 15 sheets, and 25 docs. If you do that, you are absolutely going to break the context window. Gemini just won't be able to read everything. Instead, it'll start dropping information and only read tiny fragments of all those files you gave it. So to get the best results, you really need to curate your sources. Just give the AI exactly what it needs to do the job, and really nothing more.
And precisely because of those limits, we've kind of got to embrace the flaws here. There are a few AI mistakes, often called hallucinations, that you absolutely must watch out for. Sometimes, Gemini just might provide the completely wrong information. Other times, it might cite the wrong source. And in some rare cases, it might even name a completely fake file that wasn't even used at all. No way, right? But it happens. This is exactly why that verification button we talked about earlier is so ridiculously important. You must always verify the data before making any critical business decisions based on an AI response.
Okay, let's bring it all together. Section 5, Mastery and Real-World Business Examples. Let's just imagine for a second that you're running a modern business. Let's say something like SS Digital India. How does this tech actually solve your daily frustrating tasks? Well, you could literally upload your raw Etsy sales reports and ask Gemini to instantly pinpoint your most profitable demographic. Or you could feed it documents to help process those really complex GST returns and have it highlight any discrepancies. You could use it to manage customer orders by digging up specific client histories in seconds. You can even use it creatively, like pulling in your company's tone guide to help draft YouTube scripts, or using it to neatly organize massive, unruly product catalogs. It's incredibly practical, highly localized, and tailored entirely to your own specific business workflows. But to get those perfect results, you do need to give it the right instructions. So I'm going to give you the ultimate foolproof prompt formula right now. Ready? It's source plus task plus context plus output format plus tone. Let's break that down. First, clearly identify your source document. Second, define the exact task you want done. Third, provide the context on why you actually need it done. Fourth, tell Gemini exactly how to format the output, like do you want bullet points or a table? And finally, define the tone, whether that's professional, super friendly, or highly analytical. If you use this framework, you are virtually guaranteed high-quality, fully grounded AI responses every single time.
So, we've covered a lot today. We hit the power of sources, the specific files you can use, how to dodge those tricky limits of the context window, and of course, that ultimate prompt formula. So I really want to leave you with this one final thought. You have the formula now. You have your own data. So what exactly will Gemini summarize for your business today? Seriously, jump into Google Workspace, attach a source, and just see the magic happen for yourself. Thanks so much for joining me on this explainer, and happy prompting.